Hi, good morning. So in this class, we will be discussing about the demand function and the law of demand, then demand schedule and demand curve. So we will speak about law of demand also. So first of all, let us see what is the demand function. So before that, in the previous section, we discussed about the factors which are affecting the demand, and there are 9 factors. Now we are going for the demand function. Demand function states the relationship between the demand for a product and its determinants. So the demand function states the relationship between the demand for a product and its determinants, or the functional relationship between the determinants of a demand and the demand of a commodity. Did you understand? The functional relationship between the determinants of a demand. Determinants of a demand means we have studied 9 determinants, right? So the functional relationship between those 9 determinants and the demand of a commodity. How those 9 determinants are affecting the demand. That is what we are going to see in the demand function. So it can be indicated like this. Demand function. That is demand of N means a commodity. Demand of a commodity is equal to the function of. Demand of a commodity is equal to the function of, which is the first determinant of the demand of a commodity. That is the price of the commodity. It is function of Pn. What do you mean by Pn? Pn means it is the price of the commodity. Demand of N is equal to function of price of N. That means demand. Suppose here N can be orange. Suppose it is orange. So demand of N is equal to function of first one, price of orange. Then next one is the price of related commodities or other commodities. So it can be P1, Pn minus 1. Okay, P1, Pn minus 1 means it is the price of other commodities. Okay. Then next one is income of the consumer. It is the income of the consumer. That is indicated by Y. Then taste and preferences of the consumer. Next one is taste and preferences of the consumer is indicated by T. Then next one is expectations of the consumer. Expectations, the future expectation about an increase in the price. There is a price hike or a decrease in the price, whatever it be, expectation of the consumer. Next one is size of the population and the composition of population. That is indicated by H, size of the population or composition of population. Then next one is distribution of income. All right. Distribution of income is indicated by Y dash. So distribution of income. Then government policies. Government policies. So see, in the demand function, we cannot limit the demand function only to these 9 points. 1, 8, 9, then the price of the commodity, then price of the related commodity. Okay, so we cannot limit only to these few points. The demand function cannot be limited to these few points, but there are so many other determinants also. See, the technology available in the society that can determine the demand of a commodity. Then the the policy of the government. Policy of the government means not only the tax or subsidy, but the policy of the government related to export and import. All these things can affect the demand of a particular commodity. Suppose a particular commodity is imported from a foreign country, and if some of the policies of that foreign country also can affect the demand of this particular commodity. So there are so many other facts also which determine the demand of a commodity. Anyway, here we are talking about only these points. There is the demand of N is equal to function of price of the commodity, price of the related commodity, income of the consumer, then taste and preferences of the consumer, then expectations of the consumer, then size of the population, then next one is distribution of income, then government policies. Alright? Okay. Now, you note it down, this demand function. Okay. Next, let's go to the another important section, that is law of demand. Law of demand. Law of demand. What is law of demand? The law of demand shows the functional relationship between the price of the commodity and demand of that particular commodity. Law of demand states the functional relationship. It is the functional. See, before that we studied demand function. There is a functional relationship between the determinants which affect the demand of a commodity and that means the relationship between the determinants of the demand of commodity and the demand of that particular commodity. Here in the law of demand we will study about the functional relationship between the price of a commodity and the demand of that particular commodity. So in microeconomics or price theory, mostly we will be interested in finding out how the price of a particular commodity is fixed, is it not? We also would have thought about that particular thing. How price of a particular commodity is fixed. Suppose this is a chalk. Suppose the price of this a single piece of chalk is 1 rupee. If it is 1 rupee, how that particular price is fixed? So while considering the price theory, law of demand is an important theory. So law of demand will help us to understand some portions of the price theory. Alright. So let us go to the statement of the law. Statement of the law. Statement of law of demand is very important. So, as I had told you in the previous year, we can make alterations in any answer, and you can attend any answer in your own words, but the law or the theories and the statements cannot be altered. The definitions, the statement of the law theory, that means we will study different theories in economics. So in all those theories there will be some statements, that means the statement of that particular law. So that cannot be altered and the definitions cannot be altered. So here the statement of the law is like this. The law of demand states that other things remaining equal. What is other things remaining equal? Do you remember, which we have studied in the first class, in the first chapter, that is in microeconomics and macroeconomics. We had studied about the assumption. There the assumption of microeconomic theory is ceteris paribus. Do you remember? Ceteris paribus. Okay. So in this law of demand we are using the same thing. So the law of demand states that other things remaining equal, ceteris paribus, other things remaining equal, the quantity demanded of a commodity, the quantity demanded of a commodity increases when its price falls. When other things remaining equal, the quantity demanded of a commodity increases when its price falls and decreases when its price rises. So the statement is having three parts. Other things remaining equal. Okay. Other things remaining. Other thing means anything other than the price of the commodity. Everything other than that means the taste and preference, price of related commodities, future expectations, size of the population, government policy, income of the consumer, whatever it be, anything can be. So other things remaining equal. When price falls, what happens? Demand increases. So the first part is when price of that particular commodity falls, the demand increases. And second one is when the price of the commodity decreases, or when its price rises. All right. So these are the three points we have to remember in the statement of the law. That is, when other things remaining equal, that is ceteris paribus, when the price of the commodity falls, demand increases, and when the price of the commodity rises, the demand falls. So there is an inverse relationship between demand of the commodity and price of the commodity. Now let us talk about so I am wiping this. Now we are going to the assumptions of law of demand. All right. Assumptions of law of demand. Assumptions of law of demand. So the most important assumption of law of demand is, what is the most important assumption of law of demand? Can you guess? That is the assumption of the microeconomics itself. That is ceteris paribus. Okay. Anyway, we are not talking about that. So, ceteris paribus is the most important assumption, and that is applicable in law of demand also. So, anyway, in the statement of the law, we have talked about ceteris paribus, other things remaining equal. Other things remaining equal means there should not be any change. There should not be any change in any factors, any other factors other than the price of the commodity, which determine the demand of the commodity. Now, the first one is income of the consumer. First one, income. So, there should not be any change in the income of the consumer. That is the first assumption. There should not be any change in the, if a consumer is having 100 rupee as his income should continue as 100 rupee. Only then the law of demand will be operating. If there is any change in the income of the consumer, then the law of demand will not operate there, because increase in the demand can be an effect of increase in the income of the consumer. So income of the consumer should remain unchanged. Then second one is taste and preferences. Taste and preferences. There should not be any change in the taste and preferences of the consumer. So suppose a consumer is having a particular taste, a particular preference. So while during the consumption there should not be any change. During the consumption there should not be any change in the taste and preferences of the consumer. If there is any change, that will change the demand of the commodity. So here we are talking about how the price of the commodity is affecting the demand of the commodity. So there should not be any change in the taste and preferences of the consumer. Then the third one is there should not be any change in the price of the related commodities. So there should not be any change in the price of the related commodities. Suppose I am preferring coffee always. Suppose the price of one cup of coffee is 35 rupees. Then suddenly the price of the coffee increased from 35 to 100 rupees, and tea is available at 40 rupees. Normally what I will do, if there is no change in the income of suppose there is no change in my income, then definitely I will change from coffee to tea. What led me to change from coffee to tea? It is not the price of coffee, but it is the price of the related commodity. That is, the price of the tea is remaining 40. Understood? The price of the coffee changed, but why my demand decreased? Because tea is available at a lower price. Then fourth one, size of population. Okay, there should not be any change in the size of the population. If the size of population is increasing, then the demand automatically will increase. Or if the size of the population is decreasing, then automatically the demand will decrease. So there should not be any change in the size of the population. Then distribution of income. Distribution of income means there, how equal and unequal distribution of income. So there should not be any change in the distribution of income. If there is suppose there is equal distribution in an economic system, and if the distribution of income changes from equal to unequal, then the demand of luxury goods will increase and the demand of normal goods will decrease, or there will not be any change. Understood? Sixth one is the commodity. Sixth one is another important thing. The commodity should be a normal commodity. So the commodity should be a normal commodity. Why the commodity should be normal? Suppose it is an inferior good, then when the income increases or when the price decreases, when the price of the commodity decreases, then also the demand of normal commodity will decrease. I will give an example. Suppose the price of maize is 1 kilogram is 8 rupee, as we have discussed in the previous class. Income is 10 rupee, and if the price of maize decreases from 8 to 4, then here after consuming 1 kilogram of maize, he will be having 2 rupee with him as balance. here after consuming 1 kilogram of maize, he will be having 6 rupee as balance. Then after consuming maize for 2 continuous days, he will be having 12 rupee with him. Alright. And in the third day, what he can do? Again, he will be having 10 rupee as his income in the third day. Then 10 plus 12, he will be having 22 rupee with him. He can, and the price of 1 kilogram of rice is suppose 15 rupee. So on the third day, he can go for 1 kilogram of rice. That will decrease the demand of maize. Understood? Okay. So the law of demand states that other things remaining equal or unchanged, the demand of a commodity will increase when the price decreases, and the demand of commodity will decrease when the price increases. Then we studied about 6 assumptions, and other than these 6 assumptions, the most important thing is ceteris paribus, other things remaining equal. Alright. So we will study about demand schedule and demand curve in the next class. Thank you.